Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. The Cleveland Browns could send star playmaker to the Dallas Cowboys in a crazy deal, report. The Cleveland Browns are in full rebuild mode after their 2024 season went off the rails in Week 1 to the Dallas Cowboys, and now the two teams could possibly make a trade in the next few weeks. Mike Jones and Jeff Howe from The Athletic wrote an article titled 6 NFL Trades We'd Like to See, Max Crosby to Lions, Nick Chubb to Cowboys. The Cowboys are last in rushing yards, touchdowns, and yards per attempt. Why? Because they're 30th in attempts. They don't have the personnel, and Mike McCarthy hasn't shown a lot of commitment to the ground game. Being completely out of balance has led to 3 of their games getting out of hand early. Chubb has the star power team owner Jerry Jones covets. Although it's a risk with Chubb just getting back from a huge knee injury, the reward could be massive if Chubb closes the season as a top 10 back. For the Browns, it would be a gut punch to give up such an impactful piece of their franchise, especially considering the way he was received upon his season debut. And they probably don't want to take the public relations hit after the fan base turned on quarterback Deshaun Watson, but Watson's deal is about to dramatically squeeze the books. Chubb, who turns 29 in December, is going to be a free agent after the season, and it's going to be a stretch to keep a highly paid running back on the roster with the cap gymnastics on the horizon. Whether or not the Browns are prepared to admit it, they need to give serious consideration to drafting a QB, and the extra third-rounder could aid that endeavor. SD, the star running back, played his first game last weekend since tearing up his knee in Week 2 of the 2023 season, and even though he will be a free agent this offseason, the Browns seem like they want him back. Cleveland needs to rebuild its entire roster, so getting a third-round pick back for Chubb would be solid. Still, Chubb could have another 3 to 5 good years of football left, and knowing the Browns, they would waste the draft pick anyway, so keeping Chubb and trying to sign him long-term would be the best thing for the organization. Cowboys reveal injury finish line for Micah Parsons' return. It appears the odds are stacked against Dallas Cowboys defensive star Micah Parsons to suit up against the San Francisco 49ers in Week 8, despite him wanting to beat them. With the pass-rushing linebacker making progress, it appears it is slow and steady, with the Cowboys having zero intention of pushing their star to play. Micah still hasn't practiced with his high ankle sprain. Many are wondering exactly if Parsons will take the field against the 49ers. Well, head coach Mike McCarthy has revealed exactly what number 11 needs to do. There's always a threshold of return to play. He's not over that threshold yet, McCarthy said. So until he can get out there and cut it loose, I think when you have veteran players, the general rule is if they don't practice on Saturday, they're not going to play in the game. So if you're looking for a finish line, it would be a full participant in Saturday's practice. So there we have it, a definitive timeline for Micah. Given that he hasn't practiced all week, it would be a long shot to see Parsons line up against San Francisco, and the Cowboys might play the long game with one of their best players. With the Cowboys' defense ranked second worst in football in terms of points allowed per game, 28.0, only having 5 takeaways, ranking 24th in sacks, 14.0, and giving up 143.2 rush yards per game, 27th, Micah needs to return in a hurry. But not until he can convince the Cowboys coaching staff that he can let it rip on the practice field. Proposed NFL blockbuster trade has Cowboys land 4-time Pro Bowl running back. The Dallas Cowboys need help at running back, even if owner Jerry Jones refuses to admit to this reality. Cowboys fans would undoubtedly love to see Cleveland Browns star running back Nick Chubb wearing a star on his helmet. Dallas has until Tuesday, November 5, 2024, to make a deal when the NFL trade deadline strikes. The Athletic's Jeff Howe offered a trade proposal that has the Cowboys acquiring Chubb in a blockbuster deal with the Browns. Dallas sends a 2025 third-rounder and a 6th-round pick to Cleveland in exchange for Chubb. The Athletic estimates this move would increase the Cowboys' playoff chances by 3%, from 23% to 26%. Not exactly the kind of move that has the Cowboys shopping for Super Bowl rings, but it would at least be a start at improving the team's roster. The Cowboys are last in rushing yards, touchdowns, and yards per attempt, Howe wrote in an October 23, 2024, story titled, 6 NFL Trades We'd Like to See, Max Crosby to Lions, Nick Chubb to Cowboys. Why? Because they're 30th in attempts. They don't have the personnel, and Mike McCarthy hasn't shown a lot of commitment to the ground game. Being completely out of balance has led to 3 of their games getting out of hand early. Chubb has the star power team owner Jerry Jones covets. Although it's a risk with Chubb just getting back from a huge knee injury, the reward could be massive if Chubb closes the season as a top 10 back. It is the kind of move that would prove Dallas is not simply punting on this season. The Cowboys remained quiet throughout the offseason and opted to pass on taking a running back in the 2024 NFL Draft. There are some potential red flags for Dallas to consider before acquiring Chubb. The star will be a free agent in 2025 and has a $6.2 million cap hit in 2024. Chubb was sidelined to start the season after undergoing his second reconstructive knee surgery. The star has played in a combined 3 games over the last 2 seasons. Chubb posted 11 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown in his first game of the season in Week 8. Trading for a player coming off a significant injury who is also headed towards free agency could prove to be a risky move for Dallas. Chubb has quite the resume as a 4-time Pro Bowler. The Playmaker had posted 4 straight seasons, topping 1,000 rushing yards, before injuries derailed the last 2 years. Jones has repeatedly indicated the Cowboys do not plan to make a major midseason move. For now, it looks like the Cowboys will lean on Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott, with Dalvin Cook as another potential option. During the team's bye week, Jones took exception to being asked questions about the team's roster. "This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it," Jones remarked during an October 15 interview with 105.3 The Fan's Sean and RJ. "That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions." "I'm not kidding. You're not going to figure it out what the team is doing right or wrong. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Nick Chubb? Leave your opinion in the comments.